Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another amazing guest. I've been very, very fortunate and honored to be on the same panel as her recently, and it was a lot of fun. Absolute powerhouse, absolute genius when it comes to real estate, and I just couldn't wait to have her on my show. She came from the corporate world into finding the love of real estate and has done absolutely amazing in that world. She loves helping her clients to reach their goals and going through that journey to make sure that it's in their best interest. And that's something she does very, very well. She's multilingual. So she breaks down all the language barriers, and that's why she's so unique and so special. So please welcome founder and managing partner of Benz Investments, businesswoman, global entrepreneur, and real estate investor, Ms. KARINA Benz.
Well, Fong, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to share this time with you and absolutely talk about everything. So I am very honored to have this time with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here. We were just chatting about your home. It looks like a show home. It's pristine. It's amazing. So I know that you're going to have a lot of great tips on real estate and all that stuff. But first of all, can you share with us, what are you absolutely passionate about right now? And then the journey from your corporate world up to right now.
My passion is business. I love the game of business. As you may hear it from so many businessmen and businesswomen out there, I just love the game of business, the excitement, the challenges, the ups, the downs, the rewards, the failing, all of it. I embrace it. And that's what keeps me going. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went from corporate to a businesswoman, and building a business, as you may know, it takes a long time. But I chose to build it organically, the right way, step by step, instead of rushing into a process. And my background actually is chemistry, so I believe in the process. Mm-hmm. Never skip steps, and that's the way how to get and yield the right outcome. In my case right now is building the legacy, building a global real estate investment that can help so many investors out there in the world, so many clients who are looking to build financial freedom through real estate investment. They may not know it's possible for everyone at any budget. And this is all my mission, and what I'm passionate about is educating my client, giving them the knowledge and giving them everything in order for them to change their lives, as it changed my life. Mm-hmm. So
awesome. Well, first of all, chemistry. Is that you were a chemistry engineer, or what were you?
Actually, I'm a chemist by training. I did organic chemistry in my underground and my background. I worked with a lot of pharmaceutical companies, and I was the one who was taking care of Health Canada and doing all the branding.
Oh, wow.
Behind that. So yeah.
No, it's not very often.
Quite a journey.
It's not very often that a chemist would turn into this super real estate investor. So how did that process happen?
Well, chemistry, it's all about process. Mm-hmm. It's numbers, it's observation, it's precision. And I have used all of these in order to master my business and use it in my real estate. Mm-hmm. As a real estate investment owner, you have to have that skill of attention to details.
Right.
That's what makes the difference. Mm-hmm. You need to have the eye. You need to have that precision. You need to walk into a property and look into things that people normally ignore. You need to have it. Mm-hmm. And me having a background in chemistry, it gave me that edge to absolutely get that focus whenever I enter into any property. I know and also as a chemist, you have to know how to ask the right questions in order to get the right product. So I use every single thing from my background into my professional business. Yeah.
Was there an overlap time where you're doing real estate investing and doing chemistry at the same time?
No.
Oh.
So what happened is, actually my background, as I mentioned, is a chemist. Mm-hmm.
But I started business since I was 15 with my father.
He's an owner in oil and gas. So he wanted to teach me business since I was a little girl. And he said, the only way to teach you is that you're gonna tag along with me. Forcibly, kinda,
Yeah.
you know, as a young woman, like actually 13, not even 15. And I went all over the world with him, set in a very, very challenging negotiation, because oil and gas is extremely a different industry, and a very, very precise one. So I have learned from a young age how to negotiate. And then after that, I chose chemistry because my father is a chemist. And I said, one day, in case God forbid something happened, I know how to take care of the family legacy. I don't have to give it to someone else. And so I've done that. And then I went on here in the state. I came to the state at 17, no word of English. I just said, you know what, in order for me to be independent, I have to go far away and challenge myself as much as I can. If I stay there near my parents, there is always a solution. My father can help, everybody, there is connection, network. I said, for me to know my ultimate capabilities, I have to go to a country that they don't know nothing about me.
Wow.
The only thing is my hard work. And that's exactly, actually, that was another experiment, once again.
That is incredible. Lots of people go, you know what? I've got that comfort zone. I got everything that I'm familiarized with. I'm going to stay right here. You're exactly. Just went, no, I'm going to go off on my own.
I'm out.
So, okay. How did you make the decision to go 100% on entrepreneurship and real estate versus all that time you spent being a chemist?
Well, when I was a chemist, and then after that, I was very fortunate to given an opportunity to work for #1 company in the world that they do branding for all the pharmaceutical company. And I walked my way up through the corporate ladder, of course, and I reached the ceiling. And I said to myself, I have learned everything, but I want something that I can build. That's something that I will give it to my future kids and I will leave behind. And so my father, within, I would say maybe 5-6 years while I was working at the company, every day he calls me because he's an entrepreneur. And he says to me, before you go to bed, think of an idea. What can you do? What can you be, in which business you will be comfortable doing? And you're going to have your own business. He said, one day you're either a leader or you're a follower, but you can't be both. And I see you as somebody since I was young, and I learned so much, and I was fortunate of learning it. He said, you are someone who I see you absolutely leading a company to the next level, and that will be your company.
Wow. So you had the great support with family pushing
absolutely forward. So my father was behind the idea, slowly reminding me literally every single day until one day, I remember I went to one of the seminars of Kevin O'Leary, and he said one of his famous things, when you are, I forget what they said, but the corporate, actually, they give you a pill in order to kill your dream, something like that. And that resonated with me. That was, I'm like, wow, it needed one person to say it exactly clearly. That went through my mind. And I'm like, that's very true. My dream is to create a legacy, a global legacy. So I have to do something. So I just resigned 2 weeks after. And I had no plan, Fong. Literally, I had zero plan. Wow. But my father taught me, he said, listen, if you don't jump, you would never know. You're gonna start going from one industry to another. What can you be good at? And then you never quit because you're very comfortable with the income that you're getting. You're very comfortable. The job, it becomes mechanical. You're very good at it. But that's all. That's pretty much it. He said the only way to do it is to do cold turkey. And then you figure out. Wow. And I'm like, boy, if I knew what I was getting into. Once again, he put me in a hot water.
Did you give yourself a timeline for you to find out what it is that you actually want to do?
So before resigning, 15 days, I put I put, what can I do with my skills? I wanted to use my skills. I'm very good at math, very good at observation, very good at negotiation and customer service, client relationship. Those I learned extremely well throughout my father's journey, throughout my former boss at Brand Institute. I learned them all. So I said, where I can use this for any industry. I was always interested about real estate. I said to myself, real estate, it's a very challenging industry. Every day is a new day. And I love that. Mm-hmm. And I said, I was actually in the process of buying a house at the same time. So I said and I was not very thrilled about the customer service. I was not thrilled about how things was presented to me. And I said, I can do better than this. I can provide my client absolutely everything they need to make this process enjoyable, easy, and effective. And that was just like this. And then I decided to be in real estate. I resigned and I took a year and I said, I want to learn from the best. In order to be the best, you need to learn from the best. So I partnered with one of my colleagues, actually, she's one of the top as well. And she taught me everything about the industry. You can learn the business within your career, but once you're in a very specific industry, you have to learn the language of that industry. The no's, the yeses, everything about it, you need to learn. And that's exactly what I did. I gave it a year of learning, practicing real estate 100% without having a dime, because I wanted to give value to my client once I'm up and running on my own and creating my investment firm. So it was quite a journey, but at the end of the day, it was all worth it. When you want something, you do it. It's not monetary. It's what is your biggest why? My biggest why was to help people and give them the best advice I can give.
That is incredible. Most people would go, let me think about what I'm going to be doing first before I start resigning. But you did that after, because like, okay, now I have to start writing down my skill sets. So that's a very courageous move. So for people out there who goes, oh, I don't know, like, would you recommend the same kind of format, or would you recommend something else?
Well, very good question. If you want to succeed, you have to be uncomfortable. If you want to know your true self, you have to put yourself in those type of situations to know whether you bounce back. And that will give you all the strength you need, because then you're in a do or die, or you have to make it happen. I had the pleasure of having an interview with Gillian Michael, and her and I, we share the same thing. I never had plan B. I always rolled on plan A. And when you have only to make happen plan A, your brain thinks differently. You build that resilience. You build that problem solving capacity. So I highly, highly recommend it. Is it painful? Absolutely, yes. Is it worth it? Yes, 100%.
What was that real estate deal that you believe is the deal that made a mark? Oh
my God, I really have so many, but it was one actually that really, really marked me, because it was extremely special. It was a deal was done in 2020, right on the beginning of the pandemic. It was on March 2020, and that was the week that they announced the lockdown, the pure lockdown. So we had this family, and we were about to close, and we were going through financing. They approved the transaction on a Friday. The lockdown was announced, I think, in the weekend. On a Monday, we received an email. The loan is not going through, or the bank canceled. What would you do? They already sold their house. They have nowhere to stay after, gone. The other side also made arrangement. So how can you save the moment? It was quite challenging. It's a bank, it's a pandemic. What can you do on those type of So I remember I said, let's take a week. This is only the lockdown. It's not the end of the world. Let's not panic. I think the best advice to everyone in anyhow, panic should be out of the equation. Once you take the panic out, you think. So I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be in lockdown regardless. Now, what can we do? We go to the seller. It was fortunate that he was very good on his wealth. So we structured with him a seller financing. It was not his favorite thing, but we put a deal together and we structured the seller financing and we closed during a lockdown.
Wow.
So sometimes you have to think outside the box. Mm-hmm. You have to make those compromises. You have to write them down, go to both parties, negotiate. And as long as people know you're doing the best for both of them, mm-hmm. that's actually one of the key of success in any transaction in real estate.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've done lots of different properties, lots of different price points and all that kind
challenging
of
properties, I would say.
Challenging ones as well. What would you say is the main reason why most people don't succeed in real estate?
Because they don't persevere. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you come up with options. Mm-hmm. And also practice. A lot of people chase glitter things instead of practicing. You start small and you build on. That's what I have said initially. I decided to build my company organically from the low of the low, and I went up. So my first deal, I remember, I think it was 230K. And then I went up and up and up. But that's one of the reasons people don't persevere and they think things comes to them very quickly. It takes time. It takes time. When you build the right business, it takes time. Once you know that, then you know how to improvise, you know how to move forward. And knowledge, like for me, I'm fortunate to have JT Fox as my business coach. Yeah. And if I need any knowledge on the real estate, he's the one I go to. I have other also clients. I have other lawyers that I rely on whenever it comes to real estate, because the more you know, the better you help your client.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So perseverance.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to real estate as well, there's a lot of people who have these misconceptions of why they should not do real estate and why they should do real estate. Mm-hmm, so what are the most common myths that you hear that people are saying about them doing real estate or jumping into real estate that are completely not correct? And some things that would actually encouraging them to actually pursue it?
Well, there is two sides of the story. There is people who think real estate, it's easy, and they think real estate, it's a hobby, which actually real estate is a business. If you want to treat it as a business, as any other businesses, you need to be on the top of your numbers. You need to be on the top of your prospecting. You need to be on the top of you being multitasking and knowing how to delegate and having the right coaches and mentor. That's a business. This is how you build any successful business. That's the good side. There is also the other side who, like, for instance, if you're in real estate, for instance, let's say, for example, people who doubt real estate and then they enter into real estate. Some of them, they may be lucky, they have network and they have connections, so they start selling or they start, and then out of the blue thing stops. Because they thought real estate, it's only a transaction of selling and buying and you just need one client. But actually it's not. Real estate, it's all about thinking outside the box. Mm-hmm. How can I get other investors? How can I be different and attract a global investors and build them a real estate portfolio? Mm-hmm. That's what makes a difference, correct? So it's all about how people see business too. If you see real estate as business, then you have to treat it as business.
Yeah.
And business takes steps.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned a lot of times about how real estate is business, and I know you do other businesses that's not real estate related either. And you're all over the world. You work with lots of different people, lots of different partners. How's that transition like? Is it similar to your transition from corporate to real estate, and then from now real estate to entrepreneurship?
You know, being in corporate, it teaches you the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches you goal-oriented achiever. That's how you continue and you succeed in the real world of corporate and team player. It teaches you all of that. Being a businesswoman and an entrepreneur is completely different ballgame, completely different, because once you get out from the corporate, who's been like a staple company that you call on their behalf, now you're nobody. You're someone who's building a business. Who are you? Why should we work with you instead of some million people out there? So you have to find, and that's how you start thinking differently, how you craft your skills, how you put everything together for people to convince them to work with you. Mm-hmm. So it's completely different, actually. It's very, very, very different.
Do you find the challenges just as big, or and is it as motivating?
Humongous, because when you are an entrepreneur, every day you wake up, there is something new. Mm-hmm. And there is something you have to execute and you have to do, because you have a lot of responsibilities that you're going to drive. So they are under you. You cannot avoid it. Mm-hmm. You have your client trust. You have to do everything to make sure they get what they want. That's why they hired you. Mm-hmm. You have your trust within yourself. You have to be always on the top to make sure you have the right mindset. You're very healthy. You're thinking clearly to continue with the business. You have to provide. You have to make money. There is so many moving pieces compared to being in corporate and you're collecting a paycheck, which is completely different, because even if something maybe went wrong, you still have something at the end of the month that cover the basis.
Right.
While being an entrepreneur is completely different.
Mm-hmm. So something that people working in corporate don't always do is speaking engagements. You're speaking on panels, you're speaking on stages, you're doing webinars, you're doing a whole bunch of other stuff now. But you were also the person who said, I went to the States with no English.
Zero.
So
I only knew how to say no because my grandma told me, say no. And then JT Fox said, say yes to everything. Big disconnect.
Exactly. So what was that transition like? What was the first thing you did? Did you enroll yourself into English class and then go through speaking class and stuff like that? Or how did you get over that?
You know, it was a journey, as I said. And I remember, so the first thing when I enrolled in the university as a chemist major. So I said to myself, let me register for math classes and physics classes. I don't have to converse. I don't have to understand its math. And I'm gonna hire an English teacher who's going to teach me a proper English. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I did. And the first 3 months, whatever you tell me, it sounds like, it's like noise. Like I don't understand anything. And I said, and I remember my father visited after 3 months. He said, are you sure you want to continue staying here? Are you keeping up with your challenge? I said, yes. There is no going back.
Mm-hmm. So when you were asked to speak like to a large audience, what was that like?
Quite interesting. That again, this is being a true entrepreneur. You have to think on your feet quickly. Anything can happen to you. I can receive a phone call right now, a transaction. I have to think quickly on the behalf of my client. Mm-hmm. And that takes practice, of course. And I remember when I spoke at JT Fox event, the Mega Success 2021, mm-hmm. Before that, I had actually kind of a heart attack, which is quite interesting. Yeah, because I was very, very overworked and a lot of things. So I didn't have time to really prepare my speech. I didn't have time to do all of that. and I just jumped in quickly and I went to the gala. So I wrote down my speech and I said, okay, I'm going to talk about integrity, which is actually rare nowadays. And it's very, very important to me in my business. So I wrote the speech and never spoke for so many high net worth, that audience that we were at. So I started, and out of the blue, Fong, I had a blackout. Like blank. I had to think quickly, and I had to come up with a speech while I was on the stage.
Wow.
To continue on.
Oh,
So,
since you didn't say anything, nobody knew. It's like, look at that, perfect.
The blackout lasted for a long time. I had to say something to reset, to continue on. So sometimes it's okay to say it loud. It takes strength. It's okay to say, you know what, this is where I'm at. But at the end, I reached the destination. I said what I had to say, and it was integrity. That was the goal.
What's the next big thing for you?
I keep learning. I keep adding value to my client, and I keep taking Ben's investment globally, buying real estate, helping people build their portfolio, generating wealth through real estate. It's extremely tangible. It's very stable. If you know what you're buying, it's a secure game. You just have to know what you're buying, and don't chase glitter. Don't chase everyone what they tell you out there. Do your homework and work with professionals who knows what they're doing. Nice. And you will be fine.
No, before we started this recording, the first thing you said to me was you couldn't believe what my day was like. So your days are your days are jam-packed. Okay? Yes. And you are absolutely shining right now. So how does that energy get harnessed and still be delivered, even if every single day is packed for you?
I love what I do. It's very simple.
And so how does your day start?
My God, my day normally starts at 5:30 every day, 5:30. From 5:30 to 6, I do nothing. I drink my coffee and reset my brain. That's all what I do every day. 5:30 to 6, I do nothing. Drink my coffee and give myself that peace of mind. I think it's extremely important. Clients come to us and they expect us to be at our best, the energy-wise, the thinking, the clear-headed. And that's for me, this is what works for me. From 6 to 6:45, I jog. And if I don't jog, it's raining, then I will do reading, or I do podcasts. I do something that pumps my head and my brain. And then from there, and then I jump into emails and client calls and meetings, and it depends how the journey is. And all the way through 9, 10 p.m., like long days. And within, I take time to cook every night. It's extremely important. That's what meditating is for me. I disconnect completely while I'm doing something good for my body. I'm eating healthy. I'm in control of my intake while I'm just disconnecting. So that time is very, very important to me.
Wow, that's incredible. You go all the way to 9 p.m., 10 p.m.
Yes.
And you're still, well, I can only imagine by 9 p.m. you're probably still this energetic.
I am, believe it or not.
It's like morning all the time for you.
Maybe less. But if you call me and you need help at any time, you absolutely will have me exactly like this. Because I just love what I do, Fong. I truly do. There is no other definition to it.
Now, let's say we put you back on the world stage again, and you get the entire world at your feet for you to spread one message. What's that one message you want everybody to remember you for?
Integrity. It's extremely important. I would have to say it again. I want everyone to make sure it's not about the money, it's about doing the right thing. Let's all go back to basic. and let's do the right thing, even when no one is watching. I don't see it much in my industry. I don't see it in other industries that I'm involved at. And I think it's important for me to absolutely go back to this subject all the time. JT Fox talks about loyalty, 365, 247. I say integrity. It's important because once you have that in you, you're loyal to the people who are you're loyal to. Absolutely. There is no gray area. It's always 100%. And that's something I will actually, that's something I'm going to continue and make sure that the best investments stand for.
Well, great words to live by, and I'm sure everybody needs to live by those words and be integral, be strong in integrity. Now, absolutely. Before I let you go, I know you have another jam-packed meeting right after this. I got 5 quick questions for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. You're stranded on a desert island, and you get to pick one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Food?
Yeah, one food for the rest of your life. Pardon?
Sushi. Sushi. I'm obsessed with sushi.
Good choice. Hollywood calls and go, hey, Karina, your life is absolutely amazing. We want to do a biopic on you, but first, we want you to choose who's going to play you in the movie.
That's a very, very, very interesting choice. I have so many. I mean, I love all the actresses. I have so much respect for them. It takes a lot to be an actress. One who can play me. That's a very, very. I have never thought about it, to be honest with you. But if I do, let's see which one can play me. I would say Meryl Streep. I love her.
Awesome. So Meryl Streep knocks on your door. And you're like, hey, Karina, I got casted for the role, okay? But first, I would like to know more about you, get to know your mannerisms, everything. But I'm kind of hungry. So what do you cook as a specialty for Meryl Streep?
I will make her the best roasted chicken that she never had.
Awesome.
With a nice gratin dauphinois. Yes, she will have an amazing meal. I will make sure of that.
Makes me hungry now. You are on a long road trip and you have one song that's stuck in that player that plays over and over and over again. What's that one song?
You know which one I love the best? It's Relax, Take It Easy by Mika. Is one of my favorites. Relax, Take It Easy.
Great. And my last question is, what is success like? But give me a number between 1 to 3.
What's success like?
Give me a number between 1 to 3.
Let's go 2.
1, 2. So how is success like a straw?
Interesting. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, success, you cannot Google success, right? Success is hard work for me. You cannot go to Google and say, can you Google success? Success is a believe in yourself, 100%. Once you believe in yourself that you can take on the world, no one can stop you. Some people can have it, even if it takes you 60 years, and that day you reach it, that's the day you should be. That's the day you should be proud of yourself, because you have never gave up and you always wanted to know what is the next step is. And just that belief, like passion, you don't choose your passion. Passion picks you. That's what we call calling. Awesome. And from there you use it. Yeah, so absolutely. I think it's a true belief. Great. You have to believe in yourself.
And that's what success is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Belief, passion, and being able to find that call.
That you can do whatever your mind is going to do. You have to believe in yourself. Once you do that, everything else will follow.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that. Any last words, any last nuggets that you want to drop before we go?
Well, I just want to share something quickly. It's, nowadays, I just want to talk quickly about being an entrepreneur, but I think for me, it's mostly being a businesswoman. For all of you who are in corporate, that you may think being a businesswoman is impossible or being an entrepreneur is very difficult? Yes, the answer is yes. But let me tell you something. Being in corporate, it's absolutely taking all you don't know what you're capable of until you live it and until you experience it. So I give an advice to everyone. Don't settle and start experiencing life. Start living. And once you live something, then you can make your own judgment.
Mhm. Awesome. Good words to live by. What's the best way to reach out to you if people have questions about real estate, wants to know more about working with you? What's the best way?
Absolutely. I'm reachable via my LinkedIn under my full name, KARINA BENZINEB. I'm reachable via my website, Benz Investment. I'm reachable via Instagram at my full name as well, via my phone. I'm reachable. Like, you want something, I'm here to deliver, literally.
From 7 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m.
I don't have a clock. If you need something, I will answer the phone.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for everybody out there.
Thank you,
if
Fong.
you have any real estate stuff, if you want to learn more about real estate, if you want to jump into it, if you have great deals, I'm sure KARINA will be very, very interested in that as well. So reach out to KARINA.
And any challenging transaction that you may think it's not gonna go through, call me. I'll find a solution for it.
So there you have it. KARINA also has a challenge out there for everybody. If you have a very tough situation with real estate, she will figure out the answer and give you a solution. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. She is KARINA. My name is Fong. Until next time. Today is the day to lock your peak potential. Well, I'll see you later.
Thank you.